Okay, so this is a tutorial for Emily regarding your final project. So let's see, where should I start? Let's start from the outliner. Just gonna go over the setup. So in the outliner, we have obviously the wall, and that wall is over here, and it's referenced so we can't accidentally select it. And we also have back face culling on, so we can see underneath, which again is under shading. Back face culling turned on, which you'll be doing a lot, looking underneath. Then we have the pencil. Ooh, let me undo that. And the pencil is over here, and it is attached to the motion path. The pencil does not have a controller. Just right now, it's just not necessary. So here's the pencil. And under the pencil in inputs, when you look down here on motion path 1, this is your keyframes of the pencil. And here are the tick marks. So I'll just briefly explain. Here it touches down and then it goes around. And I put keyframes where it's speeding up. So by default, it speeds up and goes fast all the way through. But there's times where when it's too fast, what I do is I set one keyframe right when it starts to pick up speed, and I put another keyframe where, you know, it ends, or when it's at the moment in time still going really fast where I'm thinking, ooh, this is too fast. So I set another keyframe there. After that, I stretch that keyframe. At the starting point, I'll pull it back, and at the end point, I'll pull it forward. So there's more frame padding. So, I mean, I already did all of this. Let me see. I should go over it. Man, I don't want to delete all of this too. Well, I'll try to delete it, and then since I already saved it, maybe this will be okay. Delete. Okay. Oh, that killed it. Never mind. It's not possible. Let me see if there's another way. Hey, hold on. Let me hide my lattices. I'll go over that later. All right. Let me select my pencil, motion path, and boom, boom, boom. All right. So, for example, this part from here to here. All right. Just this part. Let's pretend this is too fast. So I'm gonna go here. So, well, I mean, it is kind of too fast too. So if I start here, this part right here, see how fast it just zips by? So I'll give an example. I had set a keyframe. Pretend I'm gonna set a keyframe here, press S. Set a keyframe here, press S. Oh no, what did that do? That messed it up. Alright, so alright. So I have keyframe here and here, okay? And let's say it's too fast. I'm gonna, like I did in the other animations, the previous projects, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna hold down Shift, left click, and drag. I'm gonna pull. So it adds more frames. And then even here, what I could do is, well, yeah. So let me play it. I added a couple of frames. So it gave a little bit more frames if you notice. It's still fast, but not as herky-jerky fast. So let's say if here, right, I pull on it, 1, 2 more. And remember I said the way I did was hold on shift and drag over so that the tick mark is highlighted in red, and then pull on the middle triangle. So let's play it now. I mean, still a little fast. Okay. It's gonna take an hour. Right. Anyway. Alright, so then, so let's say this loop-de-loop. It's a little fast. See, right here. So from here, going right around here, right, and boom, all of that. See right here? I think this part is a little fast. See? Let me play again. Woo. So right around here and here. At this point, right? So from here, it's 1. Oof. Let me go back. So from here, holding down Alt and the period key to go 1 frame at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Took 7 frames. But if I were to go and drag this, hold on Shift, left click, highlight over, let go, left click inside of this triangle, and drag once, drag twice, drag 3 times, 4 times. I pulled it over so I gain more frame padding, so that should slow it down. See? So, main point is, you find the parts where it speeds up too much, too fast. You set one keyframe and then you set another keyframe, and then you drag from there. You could play around with the end keyframe and drag and give it more padding. You could mess around with the beginning keyframe and drag and pull it back. Right now I'm not doing it because I have already this keyframe here. But when you were to, let's say, set up another, what do you call that? Motion path, that's pretty much the trick. Other tutorials also go over that as well. So I'm just reiterating that. So hopefully you caught that. Because naturally it's not going to have all of this. A lot of these two are keyframes on the banking, the twist. Under the motion path, front and side twist, you'll notice that, alright, there's all keyframes on it. Alright. Let's say for example, it's like this. But let's pretend, let me go over here. So from here, see well, I shouldn't mess with that, it's not gonna work, I already experimented. So let's say you didn't like this turn, right? And you want it to be more neutral. Well, under the front twist, if you set it to 0, it's straight at neutral. So if you go here, oh, that's even, yeah, I don't mind that. So it goes here and straightens up. And then let's see here, oh look, see? I already remember I put the twist. So from here, turns and turns this way. Let's say I didn't like that. It was too much. So on the front twist, I'll put it to say 8, and it brings it back. And down here, I have my auto keyframe toggled in red over here. It's a little plus sign and a little loop-de-loop arrow. If you have it in red, whatever movements you do, it'll highlight it. So that's auto keyframe. Sometimes we forget to press S, but if you turn that on, it will automatically do it for you. But you have to just be aware that whatever movement you do will be keyframed. But most of the time, you have this on. Well, it depends on the person, but I like to have it on. Anyway, so that's that. So that's the banking, front twist. Sometimes you also have to mess with the side twist. And so that's how I got those going. See, I got that bank over here. That's over there, negative. So it's either going to go from negative to a positive. And then over here, it's still negative, boom, boom, boom. To the lesser negative, and boom, boom, boom. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, I don't like that. What? Sometimes it does that. Oh yeah, it does that because I lifted the motion path up so that, you know, to simulate the pencil lifting off the paper. And when it does that, it makes the pencil kind of go herky-jerky. So from here, see, boop, boop, this part. I wouldn't mess with this. I mean, I wouldn't mess with the curve. So that was that. I just raised the curve up. So for example, you know, these are all lowered. So I raised them up one at a time, like that. You know, and then I kind of lower them down one at a time. Kind of like if you could imagine a roller coaster going up, going down. Alright, so that was that. Let me fix this as an example. Let me grab the pencil, go into my motion path. So boom, right here. A little bit herky-jerky too much. So I'm gonna, under the front twist, maybe a 0. Let's start with 0. Alright, that. Let me undo that. See which angle it is. Undo. Alright, let me just double check. Alright, so here, alright. I just undid a couple things when I was messing with the motion path. Alright, so here's the part. I don't like this. So maybe it's under the side twist. Let me try put 2. Alright. Now I'm gonna press the comma sign to go back that key to the next previous keyframe. Maybe 3, maybe 5, okay, maybe 6, okay. Alright, so 6 seems to help to get not that much of a, no. Boom, 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 pop. Ooh, okay, that's, wait. From here, pop, 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 yeah. Maybe 6 then, fine. Yeah. Or maybe 10. See, now it's going the other way around. So strange with motion path sometimes. It does things that sometimes, a lot of times you fight with the motion path. Unless you have custom controller set up. But anyway, so you just gotta mess around. Okay, and then boom, 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 boom. Alright, so the motion path is set. You could experiment with, you know, making your own motion path again. And mess around with the timing from what I taught you. Find the points where it's going too fast. Set a keyframe at the beginning point and a keyframe at the end point where you think it's going too fast. And when you do set those keyframes, you will notice the behavior of the pencil slightly change. It's strange, but you'll see it'll do something. You'll notice that, yeah, that's all I can say, is that the placement of the pencil and the spacing of the pencil slightly changes for the better. I can't really show that right now because all the keyframes are set, but you'll see what I mean. It's very peculiar. And then from there you kind of stretch out the keyframes, the beginning and the end, so you can pad up the frames. And then you keep on doing that until you're happy with the movement. So from here, boom, 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 boom. See, even right there, maybe this part right here, see how it rips around? So say here, boom, 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 boom. Even that was pretty fast. Then here, boom, 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 boom. I'm holding down Alt and the plus sign to go one frame at a time. Right here it rips. So this part it rips. I had set a keyframe on the front twist, and yeah, and I think on the U value means the movement, I'm pretty sure. So the keyframe is here. All I do is hold on Shift and left click, drag, highlight it like that, see? And grab the middle arrow key, the yellow one, and drag once, drag twice, drag 3 times, maybe 4 times. Ooh, wait, 4 times. So that added 4 frames. So now, see? From here, it's more less turbo speed. So let's play it. See that? You notice it, right? So much more smoother than just ripping through the turn. Right? But this part starts to go really fast. Right here, from here. Yeah, see? Right, these two. So maybe here, I'm gonna go from here, before one frame before, hold on Shift, left click, hold and drag, highlight those, left click on this arrow, pull, pull, pull. Okay, so that's what I did. I'm just looking behind from here. I'm just looking at how many frames, right? Versus how the spacing. The frames, the frame count versus the spacing. It's a little fast. Maybe I'm just gonna drag it, highlight and drag, boom, boom, give it a couple more frames. So that's what I did. Let's play it out. Go back a couple of frames. Alt and Victor. Ooh, that was too fast. Yeah, see? Way too jerky. Right around here, so I'm gonna highlight that, drag it over. Maybe that much. Something's weird. The banking is off. Ooh, that's ugly. See, this is why motion paths are real pain. I pull up my graph editor. I'm stretching it like this by holding down my Alt and my Shift. Alt and Shift stretches like that. Maybe under the front twist, set it back to 0. The front twist. Okay. I'm looking backwards. Let me hide that. Trying to figure out what is doing what. Maybe side twist, put it to 0. Maybe 5. So here. So I'm looking at the previous frame, got -6. Maybe I'll turn this off. Okay. We got the front and side twist. So I'm kind of wrestling between the front and side. Seeing what my previous keyframe was at. Ooh. Man, that's ugly. Yeah, it's doing this because of this height. Yeah, that's why. But if I were to go back in and mess with the vertex point, yeah, see? If I pull it down, kind of make, you know, compensate for it. Yeah, that helps. So you could do little things like that. So maybe you kind of wrestle between the motion path, the arc, the curve arc, maybe lower it so the banking won't be too extreme. Then you can go back into the motion path itself and the twisting, maybe mess with that. Maybe set that to 0. Did that help anything? Maybe set to 0. Okay. Ooh. On this part, maybe let me make it 5. No, that's banking it this way. Undo that. Maybe under the side twist, put it 5. No. Maybe negative. Okay, negative 5. 1, 2. 1, 2. Maybe -8. Okay. That seems to help. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. Yeah. Alright. I can live with that. So that was that. So if you're to set up your own motion path, I'm just letting you know you're gonna wanna scream at the computer every so often. It's normal. But you just gotta be really patient with it. Go slowly at a time. Maybe go look over some tutorials, how they deal with the motion path. But that's the gist of it. Set your keyframes, and when you set your roller coaster arcs, you can lower it so that the banking won't be too extreme. Like this part right here. Again, just to quickly review, you could grab that, kind of lower it, grab that, kind of lower it. See? Maybe grab that, maybe lower it a bit. That helps a lot too. And then go back in and mess with the motion path. Like at most, this should be the most you should have. Even this is a lot of keyframes, So you just gotta be meticulous and slow and steady. And then you'll be doing a lot of undos as well, just to experiment and get used to the behavior of the motion path. So that's that. I had set it to about 130. So when you set your motion path, it'll go by default. The motion path option box, the default settings will set it to however long the length of your timeline is. So just be wary of that. So if your timeline is, I believe, say 400, I think it'll set the motion path to be that long as well. So, you might want to be careful about that under the timeline. Next. Then I had grouped these guys. You have your E group, and within that, it's animated. So right around frame 63 and ends at 96, it'll rise up. And the pivot point is set here. Okay. And each one of those, the pivot point is set at the center of the 3D world. See that? Right there. That's the focal point. And then within that has the lattice. So it's hidden for now. See how it's grayed out. Hit H as in Henry to pop it back up. And just to quickly show in terms of animating the lattice, I'm just letting you know it's gonna drive you a little mad. There's another way to do this. I think I think it'll work. It's called the line deformer. I haven't experimented just yet, but I think it's better, perhaps. I'm not too sure. But it's possibly less stressful. I need to get back to you on that. But for now, we have the lattice. And it's not the best. It's kind of archaic, but it gets the job done. But yeah. I mean, I haven't taught you guys the other things yet. So it's kind of not fair for me to throw that all at you guys. There's this other thing called clusters, but that needs other geometry lines, and that's another headache. Then there's setting up bones, and that's another headache. So this is the simplest way, but it's its own headache. Anyway, so let me go over this. So this is a lattice. It says here animate this. Okay, that's what you animate with. And I'm gonna set up panels, layouts, 2 panels side by side. Okay. In this panel, I'm gonna set it to the perspective camera. This camera is animated, so it's gonna go from here and boom, 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 going up and rises, boom and boom. So basically, as the pencil is writing on the floor, it will reveal the text, but you know, as we discussed, we want to make it look like the pencil is writing the E and the B, and the way to do that, let me go on the other perspective. So this camera is locked, so see if I select it, right here. And then anyway, so what I did was, so that's that. Let me go in here and set it to render view. The reason why is that let me set that to 3, a low setting, 1 1. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna leave the denoiser on. Let me turn off the shadows for now. That way, hopefully it'll help reduce render times. This is the backlight. I'm gonna turn off the shadows just to help reduce render times, hopefully. Alright, so let me see what else I got. Let's set it to, instead of HD, let's set it to 720, something a little bit smaller. Okay, now let's hit right around here. You'll see, if you notice, I don't know if you noticed, but it's slightly raised, so it's animated and timed with the pencil. I'm gonna go Control U. Why aren't you rendering? Oh, it's doing this again. Oh god. I'm gonna dock it. Alright, so this is hold on. I think this is Maya's default renderer, but using Arnold, let me just get rid of this. Tear it off, kill it. And it opened up another window. Alright, I'm gonna just crush it in. Okay, so if you notice, I'm gonna turn on the render IPR. IPR is running. Okay, and hopefully it won't mess with my what do you call that? The screen recording. So here it is, right? If you notice, see, it starts to write to give that illusion. And again, it starts to write to give that illusion. And it starts to write some more. Don't mind the blurriness, that's just the OpticX trying to clean things up. And again, it writes some more, like how we discussed about how to show the reveal. And again, it writes some more, and the camera is turning at the same time. So let me go back. Here it is. And then some more. And now the pencil's lifting off. It's going over. Now it lands. See? And then some more. See? But now this part is raising, which is the group, where the group is now activated. On the rotation, it's going to rotate out. So whole thing is the pencil, it drew its shape, right, as you saw before. And after it drew its shape, and it's moving on to draw the next shape. But now it's whatever it drew, it's lifting off. See? And while it's lifting off into the air, here's our next part it's drawing. Okay? So, but if you notice, this part here is there's a gap. And I'll explain what's going on. When I animated it, the way I made it show that it looks like the pencil is drawing on the floor, I'm going to go Alt and 5 to put wireframe on shaded so we can see what's happening. As you can see, it's lifting up the surface. And the way the surface is animated is through the lattice. And at each point, it's animated in relation to the pencil, where the pencil's at. So, you know, basically it's a real rudimentary way of animating and showing reveal. It's kind of tedious. For whatever reason, the E was fairly not that hard. But the B is harder. And what I did was I only animated. So I hit 4. Here's the cage. And as you can see, it's already going to be hectic. I only animated the top. The bottom I didn't animate. And the reason why the bottom has more of these dots is because I didn't want, if there's less divisions on these lines here, here, and here, it'll lift more of the, it will influence more of the 3D geometry. You know, right now, you know, it's only, see how it's only moving so much? If I didn't have these extra divisions, the whole bottom part will start moving in big chunks. That's the thing that's a bit of a headache. You just gotta deal with. And when you animate it, you have to carefully select the vertex. And sometimes it won't select. You know, you have to go right over it and select it. And you see, as you can see, it's animated. Alright, so that's that. That's the strategy I use. It's not the best at all, but since this is a beginning course, you know, we work with what we can, and I'll let you know how, if the line deformer will do better. But so that's that. And then here's the B one. Now I'm gonna hide this lattice. Control H, hide it. And the B, I'm gonna hit H to show it. This one has a lot more. It's a little bit insane. I'm gonna right click lattice point. The reason why is that there's multiple curves here, and I put more dots because that way, if there's less dots, there's more surface area that will be influenced, which is not what you want if you want precision. So see how right here, you'll notice it starts to raise. So before it starts to raise, and trying to time it, raise, time it, see? But the thing is that there's a lot of back and forth. I'll show you. Alright, so right here, no good, you know. I have to go back in here, find out what area is doing that. Maybe this guy. Hit F to frame it in. Let me close the channel box for now. Okay. So the crazy thing is that it looks like it should show, but it's not over here. You know? Which is strange. Maybe here? And I already have a keyframe, see? Let me turn this on. Alright, no. I had to update the render view. Alright, so here's a perfect example. Now, I don't see it. So I have to find where that was. There's a lot of back and forth. It's annoying. And I'm thinking right around here. Yeah, right here. I have to grab maybe one of these, and there's no keyframe. I have to pull it. And I have to use my render view just to confirm. You know, maybe some of that. Maybe I need to pull on this guy too. And, you know, I have my auto keyframe turned on in red. And as you can see, there's no keyframe. But there was one here. And I'm gonna... Okay, maybe a little bit more showed, I think. And maybe I need to lift this one up too. And then maybe this one. Okay. Maybe some more. Okay, alright. And then maybe this one. See, I gotta figure out where is this gap. Maybe it's this one, or maybe it's right here. Maybe it's right here. Right there, see? This is why it's tedious and it's rather archaic. But if you're patient, you'll get it done, you know. But the only catch is that on the, let's say you go back a couple of frames, this happens. Where you have to go back and, you know, tidy things up. You know, you have to kind of pull it back in. See? At the previous frames, you gotta kind of have to double check what's going on, just to make sure things are not right there. See? See, this is where you start to go crazy, and I gotta figure out where it's lifting off, where it shouldn't be, the timing. So I'm gonna tuck that back in. And you can see the keyframe that we had before, it was over here. But now I gotta tuck in the previous ones, so see, it's annoying. Maybe this one too, zoom in, kind of look at where it's going on. Maybe right here. Maybe right here. The way I selected my lattice again was right click lattice. See? This is why it's tedious. And now it's over here. You know, if you really want to nitpick, like how I am, you gotta figure out what's doing that. Oh, which is right here. See? Now it's showing. See, now it's showing where it shouldn't be showing. You know, because we set the keyframe here, but so I mean, if this was if this was possibly planned better in terms of setting the keyframe so it locks it in so it doesn't raise up, then it could be okay. But it's hard to plan all these vertices, the before and after. That's the issue. See, now it works again. See, because you have to think about. See, this was the first key, and this was the last key. Okay, and between that, from here to here, it's slowly raising and raising and raising, going up from 0 up to more, and all the way up to the contact point. But in between that, you have to set keyframes so that it's lowered, which is what we were just doing. See right here? I mean, it depends on how neurotic you want to be. Since we're down here, maybe right around here. Right here, I gotta touch this up too. Maybe I'll grab this keyframe. There's no keyframe on this. So what I could do is set a keyframe, and maybe around the midpoint set another keyframe by hitting S, so that right now it's still flat and zeroed out. See? That way in between here to here it'll maintain flat. But then here I'll raise it. See? But we set a keyframe here where it's flattened out and zeroed out, so that it won't start raising from here to here. It'll start raising from here. Maybe I should have put it here. You know what? That works. No. See? This is where you start, like I said, I gotta think of a better way to set this up for you. Maybe it's this one. Yeah. Maybe this one. See? Now I kind of cleaned up a bit. Maybe this one. See? So, you have to kind of go through all that process, and then you get this done, and then this one shouldn't be too hard. It has its own cage, and yeah. So, boom. Okay. And maybe, let me do another demonstration. I don't like that there's nothing here, so maybe I'll grab that. I'm gonna zoom in. Lift it up. Or maybe, no. Okay, so you start to see a bit. But let me undo that. The reason why is that if I'm gonna mess with this, I want to make sure that from here, which is zeroed out. So what I did was, you see how it's at frame 59, right? So all of these keyframes have all these vertices, control points, lattice points, have a keyframe on frame 59. I did that on purpose because on frame 59, let me hit 4. On frame 50, gotta be real careful here. Only the top layer. What I did was on frame 59, which is a contact point of where the pencil makes its first mark to draw out the shape, is at 59. So I set a keyframe so that, let me go to panels. So on the side view, right? Right now, all of these guys are currently underneath the plane, the surface. And so for example, here's the surface, right? This is our surface. Let me hide our lights. Let me hide NURBS controllers, our NURBS curves, okay? So this is our surface. So it needs to penetrate the surface. So this one, this is the E, which it penetrated the surface. Now the B. See this line? That's a lattice of the line for the B. Right now the B has not penetrated. So this line here, that's the surface where it's going to penetrate, right around here. Right now it's underneath. So at frame 59, that's where I set it, so that it doesn't raise from 59 on. And then from 59, the contact point, and then it starts to raise bit at a time, like how I was showing you. See? But what I'm trying to get at is, so for example, right here, I don't like this at all. Let me say select this. See, here's our 59, and frame 81, I need to raise this. I set a keyframe, but I haven't raised it yet. But before I even raise it, let me go back, you know, like 5, 6, 7 frames and hit S. This means that from here to here, a good chunk, okay, or you know what, maybe even here, up to this point, right? I don't want this level, this area to raise at all. So I'm gonna hit S. What the hell? Oh, I hit S over here. So it locks in from here to here, so it doesn't raise at all. I think that's how we can deal with the, you know, what I was struggling with before, you know, where some things lift up and some things I need to push down, you know. So if I were to just go back 1 to maybe about 3 frames, you know, and hit S, so it's zeroed out, and then it's gonna raise right around here. So I don't have to worry about the previous frames. So now I'm gonna raise. See? Now let me grab this guy, and this one, some of it was already done. Let me raise it some more. See, it raised some more. Now let's find this guy, which is right around here. See, now perfect example. So the keyframe was here where it's 0 raised up at all. Now we want to raise it here because the pencil just went through this path. So maybe I'll hit S, but it hasn't been raised yet. So but before I raise it, I want to lock down a couple of frames before, like right around here, which is perfect example, because now this path point in time the pencil hasn't crossed over yet. So let me hit S so it still stays underneath, so it won't accidentally pop up in between any point in time here. So when I go here, now that it passed, now I'm gonna raise, which is doing right now. But I don't have to worry in the in-betweens because it's locked down. It's only gonna raise now. Okay, that seems to work. Now let me grab this guy. Perfect example again. He's not raised up. Let's go back. And even when I go backwards, it's working out where it's not showing it here. So right around here, I want this portion of the path to be raised because he just went through. So maybe I'll hit S now, but I'm not gonna raise it yet because if I raise it now, up, from the beginning to here, it's gonna start raising on its own automatically. So like I said before, I need to go back a couple of keyframes and hit S so it's zeroed out and it's not lifting at all. And then now since it passed, now I'm gonna lift right there so that when I play it, okay, alright, I can still deal with that. It's acceptable. It looks like it hasn't passed just yet. Okay. So I guess that's all we could do. And then, okay, this is almost an hour. Alright, so right here, let's work on this. From here, let's figure out what guys I need to work on. I need to work on this path right here, or select this area, but it's going to also influence here, so that's going to be kind of painful. Maybe I'll mess with no, actually, you know what, I'm just looking at the surface area. Maybe, yeah, this guy. Let me work on this. So let me hit S. So this is for sure needs to lift up because he already passed it. Maybe this could be this, maybe, because it's still buried. And then let me go back 1, 2, 3 frames perhaps and hit S so that it's still underneath, and then go back to this one. Now lift it up. Okay, it helped a little, you know, little is better than nothing. But let me figure out what area this is. It's gotta be this one. Yeah. So I'm not gonna lift it up yet. I'm just gonna hit S for now. So to lock in that place, let's go back 2, 3 frames. 1, 2, 3 frames. Hit S. So it's still underneath, so that it won't mess around anything in between. Let me go to 82 now. Now I'm gonna raise it. I locked it down here, I'm gonna raise it here. Okay, alright, showed a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit. Yeah. Alright, there. Ooh. Alright, so now the pencil is gonna loop around and then make contact over here. So this part needs to be animated right around here. So what I'm gonna do is let me find maybe this one, and let me grab this one, and let me grab this one, these three. Right, I'm gonna hit S. Okay, and here's the 0 point where it's still underneath, and like I said, I need to go back like 1, 2, 3 frames so that it still stays buried. Alright, and then hit S. Okay, because it's not gonna auto keyframe because I'm not gonna move it. Now on this one, now I'm gonna move it. Maybe move it up. Okay, and then now these guys need to be animated too. I'm gonna hit S. Let me go back just a couple of frames, hit S again, so it stays underneath. Now that it passed, now I'm gonna lift it up. I grabbed 2 of those. And then I'm gonna maybe scoot over a little bit more. Now I need to animate that. So I'm gonna grab like this one, this one, this one. Maybe this little quadrant. This one over here too. I'm gonna hit, see, there's nothing here. Here's our 0 point. I'm gonna hit S. I'm gonna go back maybe 3 frames. Hit S again so it stays buried. Now go back to the point where it needs to animate up. Now I'm gonna pull up. Now there it is. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. So from here, boom, 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 boom. See? And meanwhile, the E is already raised up. So we did that. So your job is kind of systematically go down the path. And like I said, set your keyframe where it needs to raise. But before you even lift it, go back like 3 frames, set a keyframe so it stays underneath, and then now go forward to the keyframe where you want it to lift up and reveal, and then you lift up. Yeah, that's the way to resolve this. I didn't realize that. I kept on fighting, going back and forth, when I should have set that additional in-between keyframe to keep the lattice point buried. I hope that makes sense. You do that and you give yourself a couple of hours and it should work out. Yeah. I'm gonna send this file over to you so you can kind of just break it down, see what's happening. And the way I made the lattice was I noticed that the file you sent me, it didn't have these points. So when you make your lattice, let me save this. So let me kill this lattice. And let me stop the IPR. So what I did was, hold on. What you could do is you could reuse this file. And if you want to start from scratch, delete the lattices, and then You could also delete the curves, the motion path if you want. Or you could just animate whatever I have left over. And then let's say, for example, if you want to make the lattice, you select your geometry and you go under deform, lattice, make your lattice. Under the divisions, you put, say, like 10 and 10. Okay, so you have that grid line system. And then down here, this is the width of that. So I mean, you could put like, even 4 is a bit much. You know, I'm worried about. So I'll give you an example. I mean, if I grab this and go lattice point, if I lift that, you could work with 4, I guess, instead of 5. So I mean, it's more or less the same. You still gotta be careful with selecting the vertices, the lattice points. So, but I definitely don't recommend going lower than that. I mean you could try. I guess it's not too bad. If you put just 2. Yeah. I'll put at least 3. Yeah. If you want to go ahead and make the lattice again. But for sure, I'll put at least like 10 and 10 here and here and here. And what I did was I made it grouped to the geometry. So you got the here and these guys. You make sure that the B is grouped, because if you're to move the B, the geometry, the lattice has to follow. Because if not, then it loses its connection. Super important. That's why I had it grouped. Basically, you could just shove it in here. See? And the pivot point is still right here, where everything is linked up, so that when you animate it, it goes up like that. See? And if you're not too sure about how I set the pivot point, you grab and I broke it apart. So each one is its own part, which is important. Yeah, the way you do that is when your geometry is one whole piece, you just go up and shift right click, separate. And then when it separates, it'll make a little subgroup. You select the entire subgroup and you hit delete history, and then you can yank out everything and delete the empty group that it made, that came with it. So that's pretty much the setup. Yeah. Oh, also to the placement of the lattice. Oh, I don't have the original. That would have been good to have. Anyway, let's say your pivot point is something like here and here. Let's just assume. And you need to be in the center of the 3D world, so it'll pivot at the right place. What you do is, let me hide that. Let me hide that. Let me turn on the grid. So here's the grid. You put on grid snapping. You hit D as in David. See how it changes? Now you just go all the way down here. And then the grid snapping will snap it automatically. Pop, pop, pop. Hit F to frame, zoom in some more. Okay. Just carefully pop, pop. and pop down. There we go, and pop over. And you let go. And that's how I set the pivot point. Then you gotta turn this back off again. That snaps it to the grid. So that's how I did that. Easier way to do it is to go under the orthographic, let's say front. And, you know, so for example, this one, let's say the pivot point was something like boom and boom, somewhere else like that. And then you turn on snap to grid, turns into a circle, hit D as in David, pop, 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 zoom in, and drag it down, and boom. And then you have to make sure, let's say you go to orthographic side, and I placed it right here. This is the side, this is facing this way, going this way. So that when it pivots up, like I said before, it'll pivot like that. So it's underneath like that, right? Where it's hidden, and then it'll magically pop up. So that was that. So that's how I approached that. Let me undo some of that. Alright, it's just past the 1 hour mark. I want to show one last thing. Alright, so each group, the animation is timed differently. So for example, the pencil whipped through first, now he's gonna lift up. And if you look at B group, he starts to rotate up later after the fact. Same with the E. His keyframes are right here. See? That's how we get it. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. Have fun with it. Well, it's gonna be kind of stressful, but you know, it'll pay off at the end. Especially when whatever you envisioned to make it happen, you know, it makes it definitely worthwhile. That whatever you imagine, you could make it happen. So yeah. Alright, good luck. Bye bye.